Ethics Committee report on Trump Attorney General pick Matt Gaetz will remain under wraps for now. Gaetz met with Republicans in Washington yesterday as he tried to bolster support for his nomination. The 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans on the House Ethics Committee failed to reach an agreement on releasing its report outlining allegations of sexual misconduct against the former Florida congressman.
Did agree that we would reconvene as a committee on December 5th to further consider this matter.
Trump said this week he will not reconsider nominating Gaetz, who is alleged to have attended sex parties and had sex with a 17-year-old. Gaetz denies any wrongdoing. In addition to Gaetz, Trump has put forth a number of other nominations, including celebrity heart surgeon Dr. Mehmet Oz to lead the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. He also nominated his former small business administrator, Linda McMahon, to be Secretary of Education. The next step for these nominations is the Senate confirmation process. Joining us now to break that down is Sean Pittman, political analyst and author of Disaffected: Access versus Apathy, Why Every Election is the Election of a Lifetime. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this morning.
And when can we expect the Senate confirmation hearings to start, and what will that process look like?
Well, you know, it's an interesting time because what we see right now is just the president's intentions on making these nominations. But shortly after he becomes president, January 20th, that process will begin, and he will formally start making nominations for these appointments, submitting them to the Senate. And then, you got the vetting process that will start by the Senate and confirmation hearings, committee votes, and then the ultimate is your full Senate vote, which will, start. That's when it will start to really heat up.
Trump has elected many members, some drawing controversy. What is the likelihood any of his picks are denied?
Well, here's the thing. What you see is, he's making very bold picks, largely because he's got the Senate and the House. The Republicans sort of will rule everything. And so you see him being very emboldened about his picks. He's taking some risk. We know that nobody has been denied since 1989 with George W. Bush, because usually if a president sees that one of his candidates won't be easily accepted by the Senate, they usually just withdraw them. But I think we're going to have some interesting days ahead because we do see that the president these aren't gimmick picks. He's working hard because he believes these people that he's putting in place will help him with his agenda. Can you break down why Trump is pushing for recess appointments and what it would allow him to do? Yeah, so recess appointments are interesting. They haven't been unusual across history. Ronald Reagan had the most. He averaged about 30 a year. And what this means is that when the Senate's on recess, that if it's too long, it doesn't have to hold up the executive branch. This was implemented long ago when these members used to have to travel to D.C. from all across the country, and it would take time before they could actually convene. It was outdated. You saw during the Obama administration, there was a Supreme Court ruling that basically said you can only, this recess appointment only is valid if the recess is 10 days or more. So it limited it some, and you saw Obama have very few recess picks. And as a matter of fact, the most unusual thing that you may find if Trump uses it is that during his presidency last time, he didn't have one recess pick. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Trump seems to be taking his time with the Treasury Secretary pick. What's at stake here with that position? Wow, a lot, because he's talked about his tax plan, his job plan, the tariff, and the tariff plan is within all of that. These are very big things that some economists and other tax experts have come out to say that it's actually going to make things worse, not better. So he's got to get somebody in there to start evaluating his plan and really start to put in perspective a plan that looks like it's going to be helpful. So the hesitation in that, I think, is because he's got to find somebody to agree with the plan and to work towards to making the end result work for his administration. Sean Pittman, political analyst and author of Disaffected: Access versus Apathy, Why Every Election is Election of a Lifetime. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you for mentioning the book as well. See you all soon.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is backing a new rule on Capitol Hill. It bars transgender men and women from using Capitol complex bathrooms that do not align with their sex assigned at birth. The decision, blasted by Democrats, takes aim at Delaware Democrat Sarah McBride, the first ever transgender member elected to Congress. South Carolina Republican Nancy Mace led the charge earlier this week, and Johnson was questioned on the issue. He's argued there are plenty of unisex bathrooms on the Capitol campus.
Single-sex facilities for a reason, and women deserve women's-only spaces.
What we should be doing is getting things done for the American people. Instead, we're worried about, who's using what toilet, and that's pretty ridiculous.
McBride said she didn't come to Washington to fight about bathrooms and called the effort a distraction. She says she will follow the rules even if she disagrees.